Tuesday, October 22nd. This is a regular meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Here.
Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon.
Here.
Rusty Robinson.
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Here. Okay, 5 members are present. We'll do the invocation today from Pastor Tyler Jones, Koinonia Church. Good morning, Pastor. Y'all please rise.
Father, we just thank you for this day that you have made, and we choose to be glad in it, my God. And Father, I pray over our board and everyone who's attending, my God. Would you give them clear minds as they make decisions today, as they talk about issues going on in the land, my God? And would you give them strength this morning as they navigate what to do for the best of the people, my Lord? And we just thank you and honor you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right. Mr. Ken Baird, you lead us in a flag salute, please.
We'd be honored. Thank you very much. Please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States. And to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible. with justice for all.
Okay, very good. We'll move on now to County Service Awards, and we have Carolyn Least here this morning. Oh, no, we don't.
She just looks a little different today.
New hairstyle.
New hairstyle. Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. Human Resources, Melissa Avalos, Human Resources Principal Personnel Analyst. And I'm here today to present the County Service Awards. Today we gather to recognize the exceptional contributions of employees from the following departments: Agricultural Commissioner, Assessor Clerk Recorder, Behavioral Health, Elections, County Council, District Attorney, Finance, and Fire. Public service is more than a job. It is a calling that reflects a profound commitment to improving the lives of our community members. Every day, dedicated individuals bring their skills, time, and passion to ensure the well-being of and the progress of Kings County. To honor this commitment, we have the Kings County Service Awards program established in 1977, which celebrates the invaluable contributions of our employees. This program acknowledges full-time service, presenting awards after 5 years of continuous employment and then in 5-year increments thereafter. It is a chance to publicly recognize not just the length, but quality of service of our workforce, reinforcing the significance of their efforts. Each recipient will receive a certificate highlighting their years of dedicated service, along with the option to select an award, either cash or a commemorative memento. Notifications for these selections have been sent to the eligible employees. As we proceed, I'll present the awardees by department. When your name is called, if you guys can come forward and to receive your certificate and have your photo taken, and then just kindly remain in the well because we'll get a group picture with your department. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and the first department is the Agricultural Commissioner. We have our 5-year recipients. First one is Aaron Brown. The next 5-year recipient is Celso Maya Gayona. Next 5-year recipient is Janet Trujillo. And at 10 years, we have Randall Bray.
No perfect attendance.
Another 10-year recipient, Luis Gutierrez. And last 10-year recipient is Garrett Rowe. Now, next department is the Assessor Clerk Recorder. At 5 years, we have Justine Sumaya.
Photo up, photo up. Too close, back up.
And then a 20-year recipient, Erica Crouch. And then Christy, did you want to come up for the picture?
No. Ah.
Only one showed up.
All right, our next department is behavioral health with 5-year recipient Hilda Garcia.
Yay.
Our next 5-year recipient is Christy Lupke.
Yay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's your mash.
Yeah.
The next 5-year recipient is Cynthia Vieira.
Yay.
And then the last one from behavioral health at 25 years is Esperanza Sanchez,
Yay.
which I was informed she retired October 1st. Does that sound right? Dr. Lewis, if you want to join them.
Christy, get in there. Say cheese. Copies are available in the lobby for $5.
Our next department is the elections department, and we have 5-year recipient Manuel Hernandez.
Yay. Yeah. Probably should give him a, yeah. He probably needs a 10-year award for having to put up with Loopy. Yeah. Again?
Right, so our next department is county council, and we have 5-year recipient Thomas Lynn.
Hey. He's on court. Which side?
County council.
Yeah, I know.
And 10-year recipient Risa Donlin.
Hey.
Next department is the district attorney's office. We have 5-year recipient Jamie Bristol.
Hey.
Our next 5-year recipient is Melissa Cooley. And our next 5-year recipient is Lisa Simmons. 10 years recipients at the district attorney's office, we have Troy Holzenbake.
Right. Yeah.
Next 10-year recipient, we have Vicky Pearson. Our next 10-year recipient is Brian Toppin. And, we have a 20-year recipient at the district attorney's office, and that is Charlie Flores.
Hey. He had hair when he started.
I wanted to take this opportunity to thank Charlie for his 20 years of service here at the county. He started here in 2003 with the Kings County Sheriff's Department. During his time at the Kings County Sheriff's Department, one of his most notable assignments was the Narcotics Task Force. Then he came over to the District Attorney's Office in 2007, where he essentially worked all of the different positions at the District Attorney's Office with regards to investigation. He became the chief in approximately 2021. And since then, he's been serving loyally as a chief for our office. I wanted to thank Charlie for his years of service and dedication to our office as well as to the county and to preserving our public safety and our community.
Hey, hey.
Thank you. Congratulations. All right, next up is the Finance Department, and we have a 20-year recipient, Christina McKay.
Hey.
So I want to thank Christina for her years of service too. She spent the majority of her time here at the assessor's office, 18 years there, and then 2 years with finance. She's actually been with finance longer than me. I appreciate her. You know, all the years of service, all the knowledge she has is really beneficial to the county and to me personally. Property taxes is one of the most important duties that we have at the county. It brings in, all our discretionary revenue. So she has a very important job, and helping me understand that and helping, the county make sure we get, everything we can get out of revenues is super important. So I want to thank her personally, and then thank the board and Evan for taking the time. We're all busy. We have a board meeting going on, and to put that aside and take the time to recognize her, I just want to thank everyone here. So thanks.
Hey.
All right, and the last department we have is our Fire Department, and we have 5-year recipient Daisy Weesar. Ten-year recipient Jason Allen. 15-year recipient Jonathan Goodwin. 20-year recipient Stephen Lewis. 20-year recipient Randy Alvarez. And 25-year recipient Jared Pereira.
Hey.
I believe Matt wanted to say a couple words.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. We have 3 people that have worked here for over 20 years. And as you guys recognize and have always supported public safety, fire, law enforcement, we do things that are hard, that are very hard. For 25 years for Jared and 20 years for Steve and Randy, I can't say enough about their commitment to our vision. They're amazing individuals. I have personal relationships with all 3 of them, and I've fought in the trenches with all 3 of them. And that's what I wanted to recognize today. They've had my back and I've had theirs. And it's an incredible opportunity to at least say just a few words. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on now to the next item on the agenda, which is unscheduled appearances. Any person may directly address the board at this time on any item on the agenda or any other items of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction, and 2 minutes are allowed. Good morning, Mr. Baird.
Good morning. This feels vaguely familiar. Like what you've done with the place. Looks good. I'm here on behalf of the Kings County Mental Health Family Support Group to convey to you our enthusiasm for the project to be presented today at today's study session by the Behavioral Health Department later in your agenda. And I apologize for my voice. The air quality is killing me today. So, as you may know, the Family Support Group consists of parents, siblings, and friends who support someone who has experienced a mental health crisis. Our group has been meeting twice a week for over 16 years. In that time, more than 80 individuals have participated. One of the most common issues that families have experienced is the lack of local mental health facilities in our county. It's hard to convey how stressful it is to have someone you love experience a mental health crisis and then find out that the facilities that they can go to are 2, 3, 4 hours or more away. Many of the members of our group have experienced just like that. And it presents them with a difficult struggle to find the time to go and support their family members. One of the strongest predictors of positive outcomes for mental health issues is the strong, consistent support of those that love them. Having these proposed facilities in Kings County will improve outcomes for those experiencing mental illness and will lessen the burdens for their families. On behalf of my family and of those in our family support group, I hope that you will give this matter your most serious consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
The next speaker is Rebecca Bell.
Rebecca Bell, come on down. Yeah.
You ain't no old bird to this, man. No, I'm just kidding. He knows me. I'm very grand jury, so I can just bolster him a little bit. But anyway, I was wondering, I understand during unscheduled appearances, you can't comment on something in order for action to be taken. It needs to be amended. So
Yeah, so it's better for us to remain silent. That way it gives both parties to give
yeah,
us their testimony. It's
So-
better to have it on the agenda.
totally. So be sure to read your emails because I'll be contacting you. It's more, my issue is accountability. When you give organizations certain funds, is there somebody to make sure that they are on, that organization is on the up and up and spending their funds in regards to that? And I'm not sure if this, I'm going to talk to the city as well, because I think it's a city has issues as well, but as county. But I also think that a certain organization is abusing their funds, and I actually have proof of it. So, so be sure to read your emails. But anyway, but too many people are afraid to speak because of retaliation. So that's why I won't get into specifics, because I'm really scared to say something. But I'm tired. I'm tired of organizations abusing the funds. They're supposed to help people, but they don't. They keep the money up here, but we're here. The money is supposed to trickle down to help who they're supposed to, and they're too busy with their own personal agenda. Hey, nobody's going to notice this amount of money missing because they say it's supposed to go here, but delay after delay after delay. They blame it. They push the buck on somebody else. They blame it on them. But we know, at least I know, where it's going. And it's not to help the people it's supposed to. Like, and I know others felt the same way, but they're afraid because they expressed and they were retaliated against, and so nobody speaks. I just want to know, I know you can't answer this. Is there accountability? Is there somebody to make sure that they are spending the finances on they're supposed to itemize it? Are they giving their reports? And it just hurts. Whether it's water, whether it's mental health, whether it's affordable housing, it has all been sideswiped a little bit. And
Well, Rebecca, if I could just get you to email or Catherine Venturella, and she'll get it to the appropriate people.
okay,
We'd like to make people be accountable here, so not a problem.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Lupe Villa.
Lupe, Archie Lupe counting my votes?
Sir. Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Lupe Villa with the Elections Office. Hope you guys having a good morning. Just want to give you guys a brief update on the current election that we're in, or the November 5th general election. We'll start our poll worker training tomorrow, actually today, this evening at 6 p.m. We'll be training 72 poll workers between now and Thursday. We have 5 sessions scheduled. Also, I just want to let the public know, and you guys, if you guys want to come and join us tomorrow, October 26th, in the multi-purpose room, we have an open house for members of the public come and check out the equipment that would be deploying to the vote centers. So that's from 2 to 4, the multi-purpose room. If you can, please join us and we'll show you the equipment that will be deploying to the vote centers. Thus far, we've received about just under 7,500 ballots. Most of those ballots came in by a U.S. Postal Service and drop boxes. We sure anticipate those numbers to increase. So if you do have your ballot at home, please fill it out, send it in, drop it off, put it in one of the secure drop boxes that we have throughout Kings County. There's 11 boxes throughout the county, and we collect those ballots. Actually, we're out there today collecting them. So please do so for us. Saturday, October 26th, this coming Saturday, we're going to open up our first 2 of 8 vote centers. The Office of Education in Lemoore is going to be a vote center, and our office here at the Government Center is also going to be a vote center. So folks that are wishing to vote in person, they can come in on Saturday from 8 to 5. And those 2 centers will remain open until Election Day. On November 2nd, we're going to open up an additional 6 centers. And again, those centers will stay open from 8 to 5, with the exception on Election Days, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if you're wanting to vote in person, or if you want to return your ballot that was mailed to you, or any other election matter, you can visit any of our vote centers throughout Kings County. Kings County is a Voter Choice Act county, which means voters can vote anywhere within the county. So if you reside in Avenel and you're in Hanford, you can cast your vote here in Hanford and get that appropriate ballot that you deserve. And lastly, I want to bring awareness to a Assembly Bill 3184. It was signed by the governor. Governor Newsom signed that bill September 22nd, and it's a bill with urgency, meaning it's implemented immediately. That's going to have a significant impact on our certification date. And with certification date being impacted, you also have an impact on your cure letters. Cure letters are letters that we mailed out to the voters that have a miscompare signature, or a signature or a ballot that has no signature. Certification date is scheduled for December 3rd, and that is we cannot certify before December 3rd. That's 28 days after the election, and that's statewide, not just Kings County. The cure letters are due 2 days prior to certification, which puts us at December 1st, Sunday, Thanksgiving Sunday. So our drop boxes will remain open until 5 p.m. The drop box in the parking lot, the drop box right in front of my office. At 5 p.m., we'll be locking those drop boxes down. So if you return a cure letter that was mailed to you after December 1st, that cure letter will not be counted. So if you have a cure letter because your signature did not compare, or you have a ballot without a signature, I suggest that you submit that immediately so we can get that process going. So I just want to bring awareness to that process. We posted a letter on our website. It's a combination letter, meaning it's one letter for both a miscompare or a no signature. So make it easy on the voters to come on and fill out that letter, print it, come by our office, pick one up. Whatever you want to do, just make sure you get that letter back to us before December 1st. With that said, I have nothing further, and open for any questions you guys may have.
Thank you, Lupe. Any questions for Lupe?
Loopy, December 1st is a Sunday,
Yes, sir.
so it's not December 2nd?
No, it does not roll over and there's not a postmark either. So with the ballot, you get a 7-day postmark, which
Right.
means we can get the ballot. So as long as it's postmarked on March or November 5th, we can get 7 days after the election. With the cure letters, there's no postmark, which means December 1st, Sunday is the deadline. And I'll be myself coming out and locking those drop boxes 5 p.m. on Thanksgiving Sunday. So
Appreciate it. Thank you
Yeah.
for the,
So we got to make sure, please promote that, let your constituents know. If you get a cure letter, call our office, drop it off. You can drop it in the mailbox, drop box. You can do whatever. Just get it to us as soon as you can so we can process them.
So you'll be making a letter, not a phone call, correct?
A letter.
Letter, okay.
If we have contact information such as email or phones, we'll call.
Okay.
But if we don't, most voters do not provide that for obvious reasons. They want some privacy, I'm assuming, but if we have something on file, we'll contact you via email or by a phone call. Also, we process those letters within 24 hours. So any ballots that we process today that have a miscompared signature or no signature, they'll be getting a letter within 24 hours. So we'll process those out today.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
That's all the speaker cards I have. I have no written correspondence and no one online has their hand raised.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll move to approval of the minutes, report out of both sessions.
Mr. Chairman, we have two individuals still with raised hands.
Come on down. State name and address for the record.
Good morning. My name is Mike Cosenza, and I'm the Chief Negotiator Administrator for CLOSIA, your largest bargaining unit. I came in here this morning. I planned on telling you that the single biggest waste of money that this county could have spent was the COP study, but I think you guys already know that. I had also planned on telling you that the results of that study were pretty horrible, but I think you know that too. I had planned on telling you that the application of those results in nearly every bargaining unit you've bargained with to date has been pretty catastrophic. I am going to tell you that this process has driven a dagger into the heart of the relationship between the employees and the management and the Board of Supervisors. But I think you guys know that too. Over the past few years, the atmosphere throughout the county has become one of division, animosity, and in my opinion, an overall failure. The reason you haven't heard anything because the employees fear retaliation. And if you don't think there's retaliation in this county, you'd be dead wrong. Employees are feeling increasingly disenfranchised and unsupported by the supervisory staff. And today the morale is at an all-time low. And if you don't believe me, just walk around and ask a couple of them. The ability to make a succession plan is nearly impossible because of the revolving door that the county has. And I guess my largest question is who's got their foot on the door holding it open? Because the employees are leaving here in droves. You know that, and I know that. I have department heads calling me personally, begging me, Mike, get this contract done. Hurry up and get it done. I get calls from employees stating that their upper managers are pressing them. Call the union office, get this done. Hurry up, get it done. I'm kind of curious why they want it done so soon. I'm here before you today because we received your last, best, and final offer. Your team emailed that to us the other day. We're currently in negotiations with you, but I'm not here to negotiate with you today. You might be thinking, Mike, everybody else is happy with their contract. What's the matter? Well, they're not. They're not happy with their contracts. They settled because they knew they weren't going to get anything, and the longer they waited, the less they would get. Our team has been trying to get an agreement that's fair for the employees for months. However, we're told things like, well, if we do it for you, we have to do it for everybody else. No, you don't. We're told things like, well, you know, the cop said blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Those numbers and classifications have been amended since they've been distributed. So that those numbers are all different than when they provided it to you. The biggest thing we're told is, you know, you're the biggest bargaining unit, and, you know, it's just going to cost so much. Well, you know what? This place has been the biggest bargaining unit since the county became a county. You guys are just going to have to realize that and deal with it. These employees deserve to be treated fairly. You know, the negotiating team has proposed things that don't cost anything, but they would make the employees happy. And the answer we get is simply on the bottom of the page, offer rejected. We offered to extend the contract for additional salary, offer rejected. We replied, those replies are constantly reminded that the board of directors or the board of supervisors have told us there is no retroactivity. Well, you know what? We waited for that cost study. We moved this around. We moved our reopener around, waiting for the cost study. And the answer the employees get now is punishment. You're going to punish them now and make them wait. We're trying to get a deal done, but you're not going to pay them retroactivity back until, you know, July 1st when it was due to them. So, you know, that's not fair. You know, they dangle this Christmas closure in front of them saying, you know what, if you don't do a contract, you're not going to get the Christmas closure. You know what? Take it back. Give them the money they spent for it and stay open during Christmas, but stop hanging it in front of them. It's not fair. It's rude. And it really insults their intelligence. You know, recently the employees have had a 13.35% increase in their health insurance. And the county still is hiring, you know, mid-managers, confidential employees, which I understand that's their package, but they don't pay anything for their insurance. But the more people you add to that plan, the more burden that those people, other employees have to bear. But when it comes time to raise the rates, those are the ones that pay the rates. These are the same upper management people who, again, that was their package deal, but they're going to be seeing some pretty healthy increases with this cost study. You know, we're scheduled to meet with your team next Monday and consider your last, best, and final offer. Now, the possibility is we could be at an impasse, but the possibility is also you can send that team back and amend your final offer to something else that may help the employees, but the choice is up to you guys. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Just for the record, if anyone at the negotiation table says that if there's no contract done by Christmas time and then the closure is not going to happen, then I want to know about that. I'm not saying that our staff is saying that, but if you're saying that on the record, you better be telling the truth because that is not anything that's ever come out of anybody's mouth up here.
It's in our contract and they refuse to remove that language.
Okay, then I will
It's
look
on
at-
the record.
I will look into that, but
It's on the record.
you're going to say on the record that you were told that at the negotiating table.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Flores.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Charlie Flores, the Kings County DA's office. I want to first just take the opportunity to thank each and every one of you for the recognition. And thank everyone on the board. Thank you, Melissa and Sarah, for your kind words. As we know, we have people that are celebrating 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, up to 20 years. And as you know, this doesn't happen without support. These journeys within this career, these difficult careers, are not done in solitude by ourselves. They're done with a vast amount of support throughout our career. So many people I can look at that I was absolutely blessed by God to be mentored by and worked with. And the people within the DA's office, I just want to express my appreciation for those individuals, for their support, for their continuous efforts within law enforcement, within our county. But I expressly want to provide an appreciation for the members that are in the back of the room currently today here in support of our staff, our individuals from Bureau of Investigations and support staff. Things don't happen without their help. And I simply want to say that these are amongst some of the most dedicated individuals that I've ever worked with in my career. And I just want to publicly announce my appreciation for their efforts and my appreciation for your continuous efforts for the DA's office and the people of Kings County. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Dom, while you're up, got anything you want to say? Is there anybody else in the audience I may have overlooked? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item, which would be approval of minutes. Item A, report out of closed session from regular meeting October 15th, 2024.
There's nothing to report at this time.
Thank you very much. Item B, report out of closed session for special meeting October 15th, 2024.
There's nothing to report at this time.
Item C, approval of the minutes from regular meeting 2024. Moved by Supervisor Robinson, second by Supervisor Fagundes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley, Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Five in favor. Item D, approval of the minutes from special meeting October 15th, 2024. Supervisor Robinson and Supervisor Fagundes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, five in favor. Consent calendar, all items on the consent calendar listed as one motion unless a board member would like to pull an item. It's a pleasure.
So move. Yep. Second.
Moved by Supervisor Fagundes, second by Supervisor Neves. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Five in favor. Thank you very much. Move on now to regular calendar. Item A, probation department. We have Kimberly Rankin.
That's actually me this time. Yes.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Once in a while I get it right, as long as my notes are correct. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I'm Kimberly Rankin, Deputy Chief with the Probation Department. I'm presenting an agenda item to renew the contract with Champions Recovery Alternative Programs to provide 6 residential beds with Samuel's House for substance use disorder treatment for adult males. Samuel's House offers temporary housing along with residential substance use disorder treatment focused on family reunification to assist clients in reducing criminal thinking and associated behaviors. The services provided are to assist clients in abstaining from alcohol and/or drugs while increasing stability and structure within their own community. Vocational and educational resources are provided which assist in the restoration of family and strengthens relationships. The program is sole sourced in that it is a Department of Healthcare Services licensed residential substance use disorder treatment program, drug Medi-Cal approved, and they provide clinically managed services in a supportive environment by certified and licensed providers. This agreement is materially different than the existing contract in that the Kings County Probation Department and Behavioral Health serve different clients and utilize different funding sources. This agreement meets the specific needs of the Kings County Probation Department by allowing access to 6 residential beds for probation clients. This separate agreement would not be a duplication of services. Therefore, it is requested the board consider approving the agreement with Champions Recover Alternative Programs to provide residential substance use disorder treatment retroactively from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. The amount of the contract is not to exceed $358,350, which is included in the fiscal year 2024-25 adopted budget from Probation Budget Unit 233200, Senate Bill 658. Thank you for your consideration, and I'm open to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Moved by Supervisor Fagundes, second by Supervisor Neves. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Your item is passed. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Next item is going to be Public Works Department, and we have Dominic Tyberski. And that is not Mel.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dominic Tyberski, Public Works Director. It's my great honor and pleasure to introduce Public Works Fiscal Analyst Go Enquist, who will be presenting this item.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning. Sorry, a little short here. Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Go Enquist, Fiscal Analyst for Public Works Department, speaking on behalf of Mel. I'm here to present the add-on vehicles for the fleet. The Fleet Division plans to acquire 15 SUVs and 1 van. Of the 15, 3 SUVs and 1 van are allocated to the Probation Department, and 12 SUVs are for the Sheriff's Department. The Probation Department's 4 vehicles are included in their fiscal year 24-25 adopted budget. Of the 12 SUVs assigned to the Sheriff's Department, 4 patrol vehicles were budgeted and approved in the fiscal year 23-24 adopted budget, but will be purchased this year. The other 8 patrol vehicles were not included in this year's requested budget due to staffing changes during budget season. Fleet will equip the vehicles and use Sourcewell for purchasing. If Sourcewell was not able to provide a quote for the specific vehicle, bids were requested from local dealerships. We are requesting for your approval. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Moved by Supervisor Fagundes, second by Supervisor Neves. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley. Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
5 in favor, but we're getting Durangos.
Good luck.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item will be a study session, and we have Behavioral Health Department. Christy.
Morning, Chairman, members of the board. Dr. Lewis will get us started, and Kathleen's here to share the slides.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you so much for this opportunity to engage in the study session today. I'm Lisa Lewis, Director of Kings County Behavioral Health, and I'm here with Christy Lepke, our Deputy Director. Also with us, Dominic is here from Public Works, and we have Dr. Baga in the back, who's here representing Good Samaritan Hospital, and also he oversees the residency program at Kauai Delta Hospital and works for Precision. He's involved in a lot of things in our local area, so has a lot of information he can share with you as well. So we're here this morning to conduct a study session regarding the Behavioral Health Continuum Infrastructure Program, otherwise known as BCHIP. Next slide, please, Kathleen. Oh, thank you to Kathleen as well, who's here with us. What Christy and I will present to you today is first the big picture as related to the BCHIP round, which we are in right now. Secondly, the details of BCHIP and the details of our application. And third, the final steps. Next slide, please. The state has released the BCHIP launch ready request for applications for which Kings County Behavioral Health would like to apply as the lead applicant and host county, with Good Samaritan Health Systems as co-applicant for the design and operation of the proposed crisis facilities. Good Samaritan Health Systems is an experienced party who has won multiple BCHIP grants in the past. This application would be for the renovation of the currently vacant public health buildings located on 330 Campus Drive here in Hanford, across the street from the building that was currently recently renovated, where the Behavioral Health Department is located with HSA. The renovation would be to create a behavioral health crisis care campus. On the campus, we propose to develop 3 important components of care for adults who are experiencing mental health and substance use disorder crises. The 3 facilities will include, number 1, an adult crisis stabilization unit, which is called a CSU, and you can think of it as a behavioral health emergency room. This is an open concept kind of treatment facility. So it doesn't have beds per se. It has lounge chairs that are kind of spaced out around the room. And this is where people are evaluated to determine if they need to be on a 5150 hold and they need to be psychiatrically hospitalized, or if they can be stabilized and then released to outpatient services. Also, the second thing is a psychiatric health facility, which is called a PUF. And this is basically a small psychiatric hospital. You can think of it as a small psychiatric unit. Our intention is to open it with 8 beds with the capacity to expand to 16 beds in the future if there's a change in the federal law, which I'll explain in a minute. And number 3 is a crisis residential facility, the CRT, which is a voluntary treatment program. It transitions between a psychiatric locked facility and outpatient care. So it's basically a step down. Between these last 2, the PUF and the CRT, both of them we hope to build them large enough that each of them could have 16 beds, but each of them will start with 8 because there is a federal law which is called the IMD exemption, which basically says you can't have more than 16 beds in order to bill Medi-Cal. It's a Medicaid law. If we were to have more than that active, we would not be able to bill Medi-Cal, and we would have to draw from our own funds, which would come from realignment funds. We wouldn't be able to afford it. So there's a lot of effort going into trying to change this law, both at the federal and the state level. And we believe with CalAIM in the next couple of years, it's likely that there will be a change in this law, and therefore the facilities could be larger. That's why we hope to build the facility so that we will have individual beds at the opening, and then if this law is changed, we can immediately double them into double rooms, which is what they'll be built appropriately for that. Excuse me. Okay. The primary purpose of our study session is to inform the board on the current BCHIP RFA and our proposed project. The secondary purpose is to answer as many questions as we can and to receive your feedback from your board and take that with our department research to our state pre-application consultation meetings, which we'll be having both in October and November. And we'll be able to bring back any information that you might need if we can't provide it today to you when we come back to your board in November. I'll now turn it over to Christy. He'll take you through the details of the BCHIP RFA and our proposed application, and then we'll return. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide, please. So good morning, Chairman, Boards of Supervisor. My name is Christy Lepke, Deputy Director of Kings County Behavioral Health. So what is BCHIP? So I want to take you through a lot of the technicalities of what the RFA is and the proposed project. So I apologize for all the technicality and the details, but I'm really trying to give a good overview of all of the details that are in this funding opportunity. So BCHIP is competitive funding from the California Department of Healthcare Services, DHCS. Its aim is to construct, acquire, and expand properties and invest in mobile crisis infrastructure related to behavioral health. Kings County Behavioral Health is well positioned to apply for this round of funding to address gaps between mobile crisis services and outpatient services. So this really nestles in that middle ground to be able to help individuals through their crisis here in the community. The goal of BCHIP is to enhance access to the various levels of care for individuals experiencing behavioral health crisis. Next slide, please. So who is eligible to apply? Counties, cities, tribal entities, both nonprofit and for-profit organizations are eligible to apply. However, DHCS prioritizes applications that involve later phases of development, collaborative partnerships such as public-private projects, and projects that use a campus location model for the various levels of care. Our proposed project meets these criterion as it involves renovating county-owned property, which meets the consideration of later phases of development, is a public-private collaborative partnership between Kings County Behavioral Health and Good Samaritan Health Systems, and uses a campus model to co-locate these three multiple levels of care. Next slide, please. So some of the grant requirements, there's a lot of little intricacies of the grant requirements, but I'll take you through some of the most notable requirements of this grant. So first, the RFA requires a 30-year encumbrance period on the facility or facilities acquired, constructed, or renovated through BCHIP funding. The property and land remains the ownership of the county. The encumbrance is just a commitment to operate the services in the facility for the intended purpose and for the required timeframe. The facilities, number two, the facilities must make commitments to serve Medi-Cal beneficiaries, but will also accept individuals regardless of insurance status. So just to give a little bit of data on who we serve currently in our non-mobile crisis program, the Kings County crisis data shows that in fiscal year 23-24, 1,349 crisis evaluations were completed, of which 1,042 or 77% were adults whose total age was an average of 38, and 307 or 23% were children and youth whose total age average was 14. Of those individuals in crisis, 75% involved individuals with Medi-Cal or Medicare insurance, 5% involved those uninsured, and 20% involved those privately insured. So number three, proposals must demonstrate project readiness, which includes site control, title report, sustainable business plan, a conceptual schematic site plan, stakeholder support, demonstration of county and Medi-Cal investment, match, and a board authorizing resolution. Due to the proposed site being owned by the county, there is site control and access to a title report. Good Samaritan Health Systems, who will design and operate the facilities, is completing the sustainable business plan and conceptual schematic site plan with collaboration by Kings County Behavioral Health and Public Works. And Kings County Behavioral Health is completing the stakeholder support, demonstration of county and Medi-Cal investment, match, and board authorizing resolution. Kings County Behavioral Health is actively engaging local stakeholders such as Adventist Health ER, the 911 Emergency Dispatch Service, law enforcement agencies, including the Sheriff's Department, Lemoore Naval Air Station, Santa Rosa Rancheria, American Ambulance, etc., through the Kings County Crisis Collaborative, which has already started to meet in October and is next going to meet in November. And then they'll stay together quarterly throughout the next fiscal year. Kings County Behavioral Health is also conducting community engagement through a community meeting on the evening of October 29th from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Kings County Behavioral Health Building here at the county campus. Those postcards are at the table over there and also in the back. The meeting is to inform the community about the project as well as the department to receive input from the community on the project. The advertising of this meeting is through postcard mailers, which are located at the entrance, as I mentioned, and have also been mailed to over 4,000 addresses throughout the general vicinity, about a 1-mile radius surrounding the local project area. The survey and community meeting information has also gone out through an all-county staff email to the Kings County Crisis Collaborative members for notification as well as assistance in disseminating the information, and through the county social media channels. Within the surrounding site is the Hanford West High School. The department has reached out to the Kings County Office of Education, who is ensuring the district and school is made aware and will assist the department in facilitating any meetings and discussions the school would like the department to be a part of, including if there's any parent meeting that needs to occur or any other meetings that we can be a part of to help inform and receive input. Dr. Lewis has also reached out to the principal and district superintendent to try to develop meetings with those individuals as well. On the postcard is an RSVP link, so we can ensure we have a large enough space for the planned attendance, as well as a brief community survey beginning with information on what's being proposed, then 6 questions to solicit input to assist in shaping these services and the site design. It is important to note that as a part of the design process and renovation, the department will ensure fencing is placed around the facility to ensure the privacy of the facilities and those using the facilities, as well as to assist in creating a more clearly delineated line of sight and foot traffic barrier between the cross streets and the sidewalks of the cross streets of Lacey Boulevard and Campus Drive. It is not meant to be an open campus as it is now, but rather a closed campus for privacy. The individuals who will utilize these facilities are primarily served in this area currently. They're served through Adventist Health ER and the County Outpatient Adult Mental Health Clinic operated by Kingsview on Bailey Drive, which also houses the crisis program. These facilities, these BCHIP facilities, will simply aid these individuals and these entities by providing a more appropriate local level of care support to better serve those individuals in crisis instead of them being served through the Adventist Health ER and through the Bailey Drive address, at least to start. Next slide, please. I'll turn it over to Dr. Lewis.
Okay. The department's goal is to follow the national guideline for behavioral health crisis care. These guidelines, in these guidelines, the best practices for crisis care include 3 things: 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week call center, which we are in the process of developing, which will go live at the end of the year; mobile crisis response team, which also will go live at the end of the year; and number 3, the crisis receiving centers, which is what we are describing. As I said, through your board's approval in September, the Behavioral Health Department has been working with Kingsview on creation of both the call center and the mobilization of crisis services, and this will launch at the end of the year. BCHIP funding will further allow the county to provide for that 3rd component and align us with the best practices for a crisis receiving facility. And as I've said again, I'll just go over it one more time. The crisis stabilization unit will be a 24-hour facility developed in order to divert people from the emergency room and provide a behavioral health emergency room. People can be there for up to 23 hours. It's care for an individual in a mental health or substance use disorder crisis. So this diverts people from our ED. Number 2 is the PUF, or the psychiatric health facility. Typically, people are in facilities like this anywhere from 72 hours to occasionally up to 7-9 days. And as I said, it will be an 8-bed facility starting and hoping to expand to 16 in the future. And number 3 is a crisis residential, which is also short-term, roughly 14 to 21 days, an 8-bed facility, which we hope to expand to 16 in the future if the law changes. Think of this as a step-down facility. These have been the missing pieces in our crisis services in our county. We have crisis evaluation and interventions, but those happen right now in the emergency room, which affects you if you are going to the emergency room for other care. And it also affects families and people who are going there for psychiatric crisis because it's probably not the most appropriate place for those evaluations. We also have excellent system of care for outpatient care, including urgent condition response processes in place. But we do not have the specific crisis stabilization unit, the PUF for people when they're on a 5150 hold, and we do not have the crisis residential treatment program. This would really round out and complete our entire system of care. Right now, I'd like to show a quick video. It's about 3 minutes long. It gives you the full vision of how we'd like to complete our full continuum of crisis care services in Kings County. Kathleen?
We don't have sound. It has the settings off for her to share sound. Is there a way to?
One doesn't exist. You might call the fire department directly, but they're not equipped to come to your location and only put out fires at the fire station. And the only people that will come to you in the community are the police, who, though well-intentioned, are meant to provide a very different type of public service. This lack of a fire-specific response seems ridiculous, right? Of course we should have targeted services to respond to life-threatening emergencies, whether that's fire, law enforcement, or physical health. However, in many communities across America, life-threatening mental health and substance use crises are treated as an afterthought, receiving a response that's not specific to their unique needs. A 911 call dispatches the police, who most often bring the patient to a medical emergency room or jail, or allow them to remain in the community but without assessment, treatment, or support. We have a patchwork system made up of elements designed for other purposes that doesn't have the capacity to treat the most vulnerable in our communities, even though an estimated 20 to 25,000 individuals in crisis go to emergency departments every day in the U.S. So how can we improve? The only solution to delivering crisis care worthy of our communities is to build a structure specifically for mental health, substance use, and suicidal crisis that is on par with other emergency systems like we do for medical, fire, and law enforcement. By integrating 3 core elements, we can replace the patchwork fabric of our crisis care and develop a true safety net that can serve everyone, everywhere, every time. And in the process, we can reallocate wasted financial resources to places where they can have a deep community impact. It starts with regional or statewide crisis call hubs. Call, text, and chat lines staffed by trained professionals who answer the call every time and direct people to the level of care they need. The onset of 988 is a great start. However, it will need to be supported by technology that empowers 988 to become an air traffic control for mental health and substance use crisis, enabling real-time coordination across the care spectrum. But a comprehensive crisis network cannot be built with only crisis call hubs. Additional services are necessary to ensure that a unified system of care is available when and how people need it. Services like mobile crisis outreach teams, 24/7 non-law enforcement mobile teams that go out in the community and deliver care to people wherever they are. This lessens the burden on law enforcement during situations where they're not needed and eliminates the anxiety people feel when a uniformed officer knocks on their door. And facility-based crisis receiving and short-term stabilization. Facilities that say yes to every person that walks through the door, regardless of their level of need, allowing them to bypass the medical emergency departments. This not only provides specialized care to these individuals with less waiting, it also enables medical emergency departments to focus on the patients they're trained to serve, while drastically reducing wall time for police when transportation by police is warranted. With these core elements in place, mental and substance use healthcare can move out of the shadows and into the mainstream. Together, we can build an unbroken system of care that connects patients from the point of crisis to the level of care that's right for them. To learn more, visit crisisnow.com.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So to wrap up, Kings County Behavioral Health is working with Good Samaritan Systems on a public-private collaboration on BCHIP Round 1 launch-ready application to fund the renovation of the public health campus to serve as Kings County Care Center, housing the Adult Crisis Stabilization Unit, the PUF, and the Crisis Residential Treatment Facility, for which the building will be encumbered for 30 years for its intended use. And the building can be used as an in-kind match to cover the 10% match. If the budget were to grow beyond the roughly 12 million, which is what we think it will be, we also have additional funding that we can use to help meet the match beyond the value of the building. Now, just to give you a picture of what's coming next, the next slide, Kathleen, the application is due on December 13th. So what's coming next is we'll have our community meeting on October 29th. The department will continue to collaborate with Good Samaritan Health Systems, County Administration, and Public Works in the application development, the plan development, all the things that need to be done for the application. And then we intend to bring the application fully formed and questions answered back to your board on November 19th to report on the progress, the community input, the stakeholder letters of support, the schematic, so you can get a visual of what we're talking about. And we'll at that time request a resolution to apply for, accept, and act on behalf of the county in connection with the behavioral health, the BCHIP funding, as required by the Department of Healthcare Services as part of the funding application. Next slide, please. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Supervisors, for your time in hearing about the BCHIP RFA and the department's proposal. Like I said, we have with us Dr. Baga, representing Good Samaritan, and I believe Dominic is here and Public Works. So we're ready to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the board? I took a tour with staff and Dr. Baga April, May last year, and look forward to getting this project started. Seems like it's going a little slow, but I hope that we can meet all the requirements and get the funding. Oh yeah, we talk about the fence around a property. There's a stigmatism tied with mental illness in our community, where you have family members that may or may not want to know what they're going through a problem. So maybe on the fencing we have it where you can't really see through it, so that if you drive a vehicle in there to take a loved one in there to get some help, it doesn't go across social media.
Yeah.
And that's a concern of mine.
Yeah.
Because it is in the middle of town and people do want, there are people out there that don't have jobs, that don't have lives, that follow you around and want to ruin your life. So I think it's important to protect our people when we do that. So
We agree, especially on the part that faces Lacey, especially because we expect that the ambulance bay and the entrance for the crisis mobile cars will likely be there. And that's an important part to have a lot of privacy around.
Buzz Robinson.
Just a few questions. The $1.2 million, I know we're going to secure it with the property, but how does that repayment go? How's that structured?
There's really no repayment. It's just that because we have to encumber the building anyway, when we accept the grant, we're accepting $14 million. We're saying we have this valuable building that we are going to then use for this purpose for 30 years, and that is accepted as the match. So the only thing that could go wrong is if the county reneged on this after accepting $12 to $14 million and renovating their own building and then decided to try to do something else with it. The state would have a problem with that, but that's not what we're going to do.
And I know you've sent a mail piece to the surrounding residents and so forth. Also, there's going to be a meeting, October 29th?
Right.
Right. Are you going to be knocking on doors, canvassing for this project?
We hadn't planned to knock on doors. We had planned to send out these mailers, to send out information through public, media, and to reach out as best way we can. I don't know that if we need to knock on doors, we could do that. We haven't planned to do that. That's not the typical way it's done in something like this with other developments have been done in other counties, but if you feel that that needs to be done, we could talk about it.
The last question is, I know you're doing some of these services already, Kingsview, et cetera. So do you anticipate any impacts on the surrounding property owners, property values, et cetera, due to something of this nature?
I can't imagine how. I think it's a really good use of an old, county building, county facility, which is really kind of perfectly designed for this. And I think the community has been asking for this in so many ways for so long. We started to get, I can let Christy to speak to this, we started to get responses, and primarily it's overwhelmingly positive. There's a couple people saying, what about the security on Lacey and the crosswalk, things like that. And we're certainly going to address that. But so far it's been positive. We look forward to having a lot more feedback by the time we come back to you. We expect we'll have many, many people respond to the survey.
And lastly, is there a security feature with this or not?
A security guard typically out in front of something like this wouldn't be unusual, but
Yeah, so I know I can start, and then Dr. Baga has experience with these facilities and can answer more of those questions. But really the security feature that will be there is going to be the fencing, or really the fencing is I think the most notable thing about a security feature, although it's far more about restricting access and line of sight to the facility, as well as protecting the privacy
Yes,
of
more
those
for
using the
privacy.
facility. Yeah, rather
Not
than
restriction.
necessarily a security measure. But Dr. Baga, in your experience with these facilities, have you seen other security measures that are taken?
When it comes to security personnel, we try to limit the number of security personnel because it's supposed to be a therapeutic environment. But everybody that works there is typically trained in appropriate kind of security measures to make sure that people are safely redirected where they need to go, and nobody leaves the facility and nobody comes into the facility. So it's more of a therapeutic type of security, and very rarely do they have issues, because when you handle mental health issues with mental health trained individuals, it tends to go a lot better. So you end up needing less kind of forced security.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, real quick, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Dr. Baga, for being here. Appreciate that. Ma'am, so if the opportunity arises to bring public health on this side of the county campus, you would be fine, or you would be able to have those services there with the rest of your staff and team up on this side of the campus?
We would be moving into and remodeling the old public health building. So this is going to be a behavioral health crisis center. So most of public health has already moved out. As I understand it, there's potential that some of the other remaining buildings that are still occupied could eventually be vacated in the future. And that's something we could talk about the next round of funding and what we could do with that. But for this current situation, we are proposing basically to move in, renovate, and take over the old public health building. Public health will be someplace else.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, they would be stuck there, right? Because of the commitment to the state for the grant. If
Public health would be?
no, this service.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
this
it's something.
service can get moved to this side of the campus.
No, and typically you would not want it in the middle of a government
Just
center.
checking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Dominic can answer some.
Morning, Supervisor Valley. If I might, are you alluding to their future move to the old courthouses?
That's what I would.
Yes, sir. So that is the plan. So their department proposed would move over here. However, the PUF would be across the street. Now, Dr. Lewis, will your staff be managing the PUF or outside?
We're planning to contract with Good Samaritan.
So that would be all outside services, managing, operating the facility on county grounds, in a county building.
Thanks for the clarification.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I wasn't clearly understanding.
Dominic, before you leave, too, that, those structures over there are 60+ years old, and we're talking about a 30-year commitment. You want to talk a little bit about the deferred maintenance, and then what kind of a remodel would have to go through for those structures?
Sure. And this is absolutely a good opportunity to bring up. There is a possibility to demolish portions of that 50-plus-year-old building and replace them with modular structures again through this process. So that is one of the options we're looking at. Initially, Public Works had some concerns about that, attempting to marry a modular building with 50-year-old brick buildings, and what would that look like when, the facility is vacated and the county's left with that. Since that time, there is a potential for another grant and another facility. So now that we're talking about, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to get ahead of things, but so now that we're talking about the potential for a second grant, maybe there is a natural point within that building that we can demolish a portion of it and actually end up with some new structures. So that's what we're looking into. And, you know, in our meetings, we're hoping to come to a resolution, but my thought would be it's a good opportunity to replace those buildings, or at least a good portion of them.
No, absolutely. And I think for the short term, it makes a lot of sense and vision. But for the long term, we still have to set up a structure that has a 30 or 40-year life.
Absolutely.
You got stuff around here, you already ain't moving in 30 or 40 years.
You've been talking to my wife again? Man,
Closer to good.
50.
I'm the same way. Don't worry about it. Any other questions? Dr. Boggy, anything we missed on this?
No, I just, that was new to me, and just to answer the 30-year question, that is obviously important, and also there's seismic requirements. So when you go into different structures and they have different HCI requirements, then you have seismic requirements. So I know when we had initially talked about it, the budget was prepared to do either thing, to either do the new construction there or to renovate the building to make sure that it meets the specifications so that it would last the 30 years. So we've budgeted for that to make sure.
And his staff's been through all the buildings, measured, looked at stuff, and so they spent a half a day or so there with us, and we had a meeting, so they're aware of what they're getting their hands into.
Yeah, it's not the stuff you can see, it's the stuff you can't see. You know, it's the plumbing, it's electrical, it's all of the infrastructure stuff that unfortunately you can't see that is been part of that structure for the last half century.
Well, the height of the ceiling was the biggest concern. I know when we were there. It needs to be a little taller. So pop the roof.
And I don't
almost did that for us. We almost lost the whole roof.
Exactly. That's not a false ceiling. That's the original ceiling.
There is a drop ceiling. Jim, do you want to speak to the?
Yeah, so I think originally, I think there is, but
we also forgot to mention asbestos. We do have asbestos.
we'll just encapsulate that. It ain't going nowhere.
Morning, Chairman, members of the board, Jim Henderson, Public Works. Yeah, so there is some hard lid ceilings throughout the facility that'd be a structural, some structural construction to raise that. There is also some drop ceilings that might be an easier task, but then there requires some framing to get to the point that they would need.
And I think for sound security and you don't want a lot of conversations to go through. So there's going to be a higher standard even for a lot of that construction in that structure. But I think just the bricks and mortar part of it would be kind of nice if we could preserve it. But I don't want to be married to that just in case it can't work.
And I agree with Supervisor Neves. There's some electrical infrastructure that needs to be upgraded. If we did a tour of the basement where the electrical comes in, it's 1950s. It's pretty dated. So it might be a good opportunity to bring up.
That's a long time ago.
It was a good year.
But sometimes you realize they don't make them like they used to.
Right,
So
exactly.
that may still work better than
No.
some of the new stuff.
Well, that could be debated.
But all the technology's there. I think the health department's done a real good job of bringing the technology in. So there's a lot of positives about that structure, but then I just want to make sure we explore all the negatives and be able to be set up for the next 30 or 40 years in a trouble-free environment. So I think that's my closing remarks.
Yeah, it sounds like you're open to going either way. We should explore both.
I would explore both, because if you get in there and you find something that's just more expensive to replace, then don't be afraid to.
Very much appreciate the guidance. Thank
Yeah.
you.
We have 2 dozers.
That are looking to.
We can make 2 big old piles right there.
Pretty fast.
Yeah. And we're training. We call it training.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that way, if you call it training, the asbestos don't count.
That's right. Well, we just burn it for the next part of the training.
Exactly.
Do we have any more questions?
Pertinent questions, important questions.
I look forward to this item coming back. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank
And I
you.
thank Mr. Baird for coming forward today. It takes a lot to do that. So
Thank you so much.
again.
And there was a delay in the grant coming out, so that's one thing that slowed us down.
So it's
but
not your fault.
We're on time.
Okay.
We will not be late. Don't worry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, at this time, we have board member announcements. Supervisor Nev, do you want to kick it off?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last Tuesday attended the Pink Passion Picnic took place at the Hanford Civic, the Links for Life organization, October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and had a nice presentation. There were a couple of Chippendale folks that were there in training. I missed that part. I'm sorry, but well, maybe I'm not sorry, but it's always nice to see people involved in that event, and certainly thank you for that. Attended Dwayne Cooper's retirement luncheon on Wednesday with Supervisor Fagundes. Dwayne had 40 years with the county. There was a 10-month break in the 90s when the county got rid of the bridge replacement crew. But pretty much almost a 40-year career at Kings County, and I certainly want to thank him and wish him well in his retirement. Calviva Health had a meeting on Thursday. We received the annual audit, talking about some of the health equity transformation programs. Enrollment has dropped a little bit. There's still 436,356 members within the Fresno, Kings, and Madera. And there's always a little bit of movement with the addition of Kaiser coming on as a managed care provider. We don't have the numbers from that yet, but members now have 3 plans, Calviva, Blue Cross, and Kaiser. Attended the Lemoore Chamber Mixer at Ceremony Museum. It was very nice outside, a little bit chilly. I think Diane got cold. My wife got cold. But I noticed when they're cold, it's very quiet. It's very nice. It was pretty nice. Yeah. And then on Friday, Stanford University visited Kings County, the solar developments as part of their Energy House, as part of the Stanford Energy Management and Sustainability programs. Noelle Tomlinson, if you know Noelle, did an outstanding job talking about her job, as well as impressing a part of those students what they might for career development. And so she did a wonderful job. I also want to thank Dominic, or did he leave already? Dominic and Granite, who got the Avenel Cutoff opened on Friday, 2 weeks before. I think they were planning on November 7th. And so that project was completed on Friday. They were doing the punch list, and if you've not had an opportunity, they did a really good job.
On social media, the only complaint was shut down, but no one said anything about it opening back up.
Well, I don't think it's been really public, because I think, like,
It was
again,
public when it closed, because they were.
oh no, it's public when it's closed, but I think it was planned. Yeah, it was planned for November 7th. So I think staff getting in there, no delays, everything working. I think it worked out extremely well. Kathy and I went ahead and crashed the class of 1974, their 50th class reunion held at the Palace. I can still remember Tony Barba talking about going to his class reunion and seeing a bunch of old people. Yeah, those old people don't look as old as they used to. It's getting pretty close.
You see them every day in the mirror.
Exactly. Some of them, yeah. The Kings County Homeless meeting yesterday was held. Got an update. Some of the street outreach are seeing some new people into the county. And this may or may not be a result of some of the camping ordinances that have been approved in the city of Fresno, and as some of those populations migrate around. So I know the county and the city is working jointly on some of these ordinances to become to us in the future. But I think we are seeing some migration of folks around. And so just kind of be aware of that. The 97th National FFA Convention opens tomorrow in Indianapolis. Daughter Heather is there from Virginia. She's Giles High School. And then Bailey, granddaughter, is from California. She's a ag teacher at Brentwood up in the Antioch area. So both of them will be attending. They expect about 70,000 FFA members. Very good. And then a couple of passings. Unfortunately, the Sheriff's Department, Frank Gallegos passed away, as well as Bill Willard. both outstanding individuals that gave years and years of service to Kings County. So thank you for that. With that, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Fagundes.
We had a lot of functions this weekend. There was a Calico Art Festival, well attended, a lot of people. And then also, like Supervisor Neves stated, there's Dwayne Cooper's retirement. Elks had a weekend of activities there. And then Portuguese celebration here in Hanford had a function.
Another celebration. Them Portuguese celebrate everything.
You got to.
We got to lead the way somewhere.
Yeah.
You got to take their money.
Yeah. Yeah. And then my granddaughter had a couple ball games that she lost.
Hey, it's the experience of the game, not the win or loss.
No, but you almost have to. Sometimes you got to ride home with those people.
I know.
And 3 miles could be a long ways.
But
No,
for goodness, it's pissed off.
Thank you.
Supervisor Valley.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hey, Dominic, thanks for coming back. Do you mind coming up and helping me with this on the explanation? I want to make sure the board knows what you shared with me yesterday is, the improvement that we did on Highway 41 in Kettleman City before we started talking about the bridge and the sidewalks there, but also included a crossing signal. Dominic, do you mind giving the board a report on that?
Sure, absolutely. Public Works Department. Dominic Tyberski, Public Works Department. The Public Works Department secured an ATP grant through the state that allowed us to design and construct a 6-foot wide AC pedestrian pathway in State Route 41 between Edwards and General Petroleum, so that the run of the residential community. In addition, the existing crosswalk at General Petroleum crossing State Route 41, we were able to add rapid rectangular flashing beacons, and then also pre-warning beacons.
Pretty signs.
Three times.
You really want me to try that? Lucky I got it out once. And then we also have the pre-warning beacon. So when somebody pushes the button, the lights are activated at the crossing. So it did significantly improve the safety of the existing crosswalk.
Very good.
But
Absolutely.
the issue is
the issue is the way we do lighted crosswalks here in the county. We add the pre-warning beacons. We add a module that essentially functions as a cell phone. So when the crossing is activated, it activates the pre-warning beacons. The state didn't allow us to do that, so those pre-warning beacons are on all the time. They never shut off, which means people are going to tune them out. However, the light at the crosswalk itself is pedestrian activated, so that will function as needed. So it is definitely an improvement, just not quite the way we would have done it.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have those lights activated when needed, so it catch the driver's attention. But like
Absolutely.
Dominic said, if it's constantly flashing, it kind of mutes the purpose that,
Yes.
you don't have kids.
It will be. It wouldn't be good for the people that come through every day, but the new ones will always slow down.
Sure. Hopefully, but that's there till the bridge gets there.
It's interesting.
Still need a bridge?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Little differences grab people's attention. They actually did a study with the radar feedback signs. When they're right angle, you don't notice them as much as if they're slightly tilted to the right. So that's why some of them you'll see, it catches your attention. So those little things do make a difference.
Yeah, and not to be confused.
Marketing. That's why Heineken has the E's laying over the side. Yeah.
It works.
And it's not to be confused with the Hawk system, right?
No, that is not, the Hawk system is completely different. The Hawk system it's dormant or it's passive until it's activated, and then it essentially becomes a signal. So it actually stops the cars. It transitions from yellow to red, stops vehicles, pedestrians pass, and then they're able to go. So.
Hey, thanks, Dominic. Appreciate you helping me with that, and good work. Dominic is going back and forth with our consultant on some of the feedback we got from the community town halls on the decorative art for the bridge. So we're still not there yet. So if anyone has a good idea on what's symbolic,
You don't got to picture yourself?
No, we're not going to do that to them.
So we proposed, I'm sorry. I didn't
Go
mean
ahead,
to-
go ahead.
We proposed a number of, oil wells, Kettleman City, the name, Tachi, symbol, I think it's the wolf, a number of different. Coyote, I'm sorry, coyote. So a number of different proposals. Right now, I think we're settling on the name Kettleman City. So
I think if we have Kettleman City on the bridge for people that don't live here, the coyote came from, as you know, that's their school mascot, right? But I think anyone coming from LA or Frisco, they're not going to know what that means. And when we saw the design of it, it looked beautiful, but it looks like it's the tribe's logo. And I don't know if that'd be insulting to them.
They
Or
would pay for it to be nice.
disrespectful. Yeah, underneath the bridge, say, make a right on Jersey Avenue.
This bridge, right?
Exit Jersey Avenue. But yeah, I think if we just have it say Kettleman City, that could look very nice. And, we asked the community, and it's still not too late, right, Dominic, for a slogan. There's a couple people at the town hall that they liked, well, it came from them, Kettleman City Gateway to the coast, they said. I kind of like it, but I don't want to offend anyone by calling Kettleman a gateway either. But I think that's kind of positive. So that's going back and forth. We just keep the board updated.
It's kind of halfway between LA and San Francisco too. So if you had Kettleman City in the middle with LA and San Francisco on the ends.
Palm tree and a redwood tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Dodgers and Giants. There you go.
Yeah, or something like that, because that is a turnaround point on I-5 between those two large metropolitan areas.
I kind of like that idea too.
That's a great
Kind of
idea.
Combine that and whatever the silhouette of San Francisco with the Golden Gate Bridge and whatever the skyline of LA with Kettleman City in the middle of it.
Well, and it's absolutely.
I like that concept.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I like that concept. Have the guys.
Absolutely.
A draft for it on that too.
And it's absolutely consistent with what we're going after. So State Route 99, you have the runners, McFarland, up north on 99 where they found the mammoths. You see the large elephants. So the idea is to, represent place something up there that represents the community.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to seek. And so that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And they're doing a good job. And then thank you, Dominic. And then lastly, Mr. Chair, as we're going to end the year, I'm looking at these dates I know we're going to be off two meetings in November, one for Veterans Day and one for CSAC. But next Tuesday, it's 50-50 if I'm going to be here. I have a family funeral. And then we come back on the 26th of November. And that's the one day a year I'm in Avenel for doing the turkey.
We have some good meetings coming up.
Yeah. Well, if we go to 4/5 vote on
Dominic,
something,
hang on.
4/5 vote on something, one of us aren't here. I'm just doing it for a heads up to the board and the staff. So then
3-4-0 instead of
Okay.
5-1.
26 Avenel, and then December 3rd, I'm on vacation for something we planned a year ago. I'll be out of state.
Nice.
So this might be it for a while if I drop by.
What's the downside?
On to. I guess there is none. Common sense, the voice of reasoning on the board who will be gone, and
You got stressed.
voice of fairness for the people. No, I'm playing.
Thank you. Dominic, real quick, I reached out to Valdale's office on your money
Yes.
for your deal. You will be awarded in the middle of November for the Houston Avenue Bridge.
Thank you.
It's a priority on their list. And so thank Parker at Congressman Valdale's office and Weston Anderson for the work they did. And they went to them. And so, yeah, you're right there. So hopefully you'll have funding before the December, get that bridge started.
Absolutely. Would you like me to speak a little bit about?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So as you know, during the floods last year, we did lose the bridge on Houston Avenue. Fortunately, it's the only bridge we lost. We are looking at a $5 to $7 million cost to replace it. Additionally, it is on Cross Creek. So there's Army Corps of Engineers, there's Fish and Wildlife. It's going to be a very, even though it looks like a very simple bridge, it's going to be a very complex project. So before we can move on to the next phase and open the requisition for right-of-way and environmental to be able to move on, we have to get the funding approved through FHWA. It's emergency funding. State of California had approved it, sent it to FHWA, and we've essentially been waiting. So we're at about 30% design. Now that we know when the funding or when the approval will come, we'll be able to submit the RFA and continue to move forward with that
And they
design. So
consider
thank
the
you.
priority, so it's first on the list.
Thank you very much. That's huge help. So
Very good.
thank you.
Supervisor Robinson.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This week attended Chairman Verboon's 15 Minutes of Fame meeting, and we got to see his impressive car designs. He's painted many vehicles over the years, so that was nice to see. Also did a camp out with my kid and froze my bottom off. And he's part of a cadets group, so we made marshmallow guns and had campfire songs and that. We finally won a football game this week, so that was nice. So, and then lastly,
It's not the deal. It's playing.
well, when all you've done is lose and tie, winning was the deal this time. And then finally, I attended Hanford Christian Harvest Benefit this weekend, and that was a real success. So thank you to all the parents at Hanford Christian.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on now to board correspondence.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the board received a hazmat report dated October 11th from Department of California Highway Patrol regarding an incident that occurred on State Route 43. The board also received various reports, including the monthly fund balance, treasury report, and investments, both dated for August 2024. And then some reports from July and August from the Department of Finance. The board received correspondence dated October 18th from Valley Voices regarding a hosting of the Avenal Candidate Forum for October 24th. The board received correspondence dated October 10th from Southern California Edison regarding a notice of filing for authority to recover costs related to the 2018 Woosley fire. For upcoming events, Behavioral Health will host its Veteran Support Group tonight from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Veterans Memorial Hall in Hanford. Kings County Fire Department will host the public safety event this Thursday, October 24th at the Kettleman City Park from 5 to 7 p.m. Kings County Library will host its fall book sale this Saturday, October 26th at the Hanford Branch Library from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Kings County will host its annual Halloween competition for county employees on Thursday, October 31st. Judging for the office decorating contest will take place at 9 a.m. and at 1:30 p.m. in the multi-purpose room. So if planned to complete, please submit your entry form by this Thursday. Kings County Behavioral Health will host its community meeting regarding the beat chip application next Tuesday, October 29th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. here at the Kings Building. And lastly, the Kings County will be hosting its South Valley Battle of the Badges Blood Drive November 5th through the 7th. So it'll be a 2-day event from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. here on Campus Drive. For upcoming events, the following agenda items for October 29th. Administration has 5 items. We will bring a comprehensive overview of all the American Rescue Plan Act allocations and an update on some reallocation of funds. There'll be an agreement for a leadership development training, and then there will be 3 separate claims for damages. County Council has 4 items, a 2024 update of conflict of interest for county departments, and advanced step higher. Finance has 1 item regarding the amendment with Whit O'Brien for post-disaster recovery management services. Health has item regarding the Breast Cancer Awareness Month proclamation. Human Resources has an agreement on, will continue have an item on county service award presentation. HSA will have an item on some security agreement. And lastly, Public Works will have 2 items on some software agreement and vehicle purchases for the current year. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move into closed session as outlined, and we'll be back here on next Tuesday. Thank you very much.
Also 2 meetings at 11.
Oh, 2 meetings at 11, yes. Cal PFA and Housing Committee.